And, I'm just sharing with her, like, I don't know anybody out here. I don't know anything about Dallas, but I just feel like the Lord is calling me out here. And if He is, then He's going to open the door. And she's like, oh, wow, that's amazing, blah, blah, blah. I'm touring, I'm taking videos to post on TikTok. And, she was like, oh, so after the tour, she was like, okay, let's go back to my desk and I'll, get you some pricing and send you some quotes. Now, in my mind, I'm like, girl, you wasting your time sending them emails because I ain't finna apply here. But I didn't want to really like be rude or be that person. So I was like, okay, yeah, so I go down. She sends me the email with the quotes and, she explains the leasing specials that they have going on. I'm like, oh, that's a really good special. They had the best special out of all the apartments that I had on my list. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. But in my mind, I'm like, if only the rent was cheaper, then, we could probably talk about something. But, so I tour that apartment. I have my video for my content. And I leave. And I think nothing else of that apartment and of the Lucky Charms apartment. Now, mind you, it was just beautiful for me. And as I'm touring it, my spirit, honestly, y'all, my spirit felt so at peace and so at ease there. But I'm letting my mental override the peace that I'm feeling in my, so I'm feeling peace in my chest and in my heart, but my mind is like, this rent, that rent too expensive, da, 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 da. Like, it's just going in my mind. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I go to the other apartments, the ones that don't have any income requirements, and I'll try to see if I could clip the video in here as well for those of you guys who might be interested in those as well. And so as I'm driving, so I leave Lucky Charms and I'm driving to the other apartments, and just the whole time, like I don't think I was physically smiling, but internally I just felt like as I'm driving, I'm just like so happy. And it's like as I'm driving through Dallas, somewhere I've never seen before, when you go somewhere that you've never been and you're kind of like a little standoffish, you just kind of like, oh, you kind of just like looking around. Like, I was not like that at all, y'all. I was riding, okay, them toll roads as if I've lived there for 10-15 years. Like, I just felt so at home, like, and my spirit was just like leaping, literally. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. That's when it started hitting me. After I left Lucky Charms and I was driving to the north side of Dallas, it really hit me like, oh my gosh, like I feel so at home here. I feel so familiar. I don't feel confused. I don't feel out of place. Like Dallas had my heart like instantly. So I'm like, okay, let me go look at these other ones. I go look at the other apartments, the ones that don't require income. And they were nice, but I really could not get over the pest stuff, y'all. Like, I just couldn't, right? But I'm like, okay, this probably gonna be it. So mind y'all, I spoke in my previous videos about my testimony when God moved me from Atlanta to Houston and how my credit was, because I had got long-term complications from catching COVID. I had lung issues and stuff, so I was like I couldn't even work even if I wanted to. I was actually declared medically disabled for a little bit, and so during that time I fell behind on my bills, credit crashed, credit horrible, this, that, and the third, right? So I still was able to get my apartment in Houston despite having horrible credit, right? That was a blessing. So as I'm in Dallas and I'm looking at the apartments that are in my budget and the ones that don't require proof of income, I asked the leasing agent and I'm like, hey, I had a medical issue about a year and a half ago, probably like a year ago at that time. I had a medical issue a year ago, This is on my credit as a result. This is an issue that's on my credit. I have documentation of everything, but if I apply here, is this going to be an issue? And he was like, yeah, like the system's going to automatically like deny you. And the issue I'm referring to is bankruptcy. I had to file bankruptcy. Ain't no shame in my game. The best thing I ever did financially. Okay. So I was like, hey, I had to file bankruptcy. But I do have proof that it was as a result of COVID and stuff like that. So I was like, even if y'all did deny it, even if the system denied my credit application because of bankruptcy, if I gave y'all documentation, would you guys be able to like overwrite it? And he was like, no, like that's like one of the things. So that bummed me out, because here I am at these apartment complexes that require no proof of income, which is exactly what I need because I don't have proof of income. But the bankruptcy on my credit report is like disqualifying me. So I get really discouraged, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I done drove all the way up here to Dallas. The first 4 places I went to, one of them turned me away. The other 3, nobody was even there in the office. Then I come up here to the north side of Dallas, and y'all are telling me because of my bankruptcy, like, because my credit score at that time had climbed back up to like the mid 600s. So it wasn't the credit score number. It was just the fact that there was a bankruptcy on there. And like I told y'all, the only money I had in my account was like the refund money that I got from that TikTok refund. So I had no choice but to like be honest and upfront at these apartment complexes and tell them what's on my credit, because I'm not about to apply and lose out on my money. I only got 1 application fee in my account, just 1. So that's why I was just going there and I was just laying it out on the table. I was like, look, when y'all pull my credit, you're going to see this, this, and this. Tell me if that's a problem now, because I don't have $200 to waste. I don't. So y'all, like I was so bummed out. So I leave those apartments and I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna just head back home to Houston, because this is like, I felt a little defeated. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little defeated. My spirit internally felt great, but my mind my mental was so defeated, because, and this is what the scripture means when it says, seek first the kingdom of God and all things will be added unto you, is I wasn't focused on God. I was focused on the limitations that I saw in front of me. So what happened? Okay, so yeah, I end up going back to Houston, and as I'm driving back, the Lucky Charms apartment just keeps replaying in my head, replaying. And I'm just, y'all, even though I went to look at other apartments after Lucky Charms, like Lucky Charms just had a hold on me. I loved it. And I'm the type of person, like, I know a lot of people nowadays like the white aesthetic and the gray aesthetic. I don't like that. I like dark cabinets. I like, darker floors. Like that's just what I prefer. And Lucky Charms had that, right? So I was just in love with it. I had a great conversation with the general manager, which I didn't even know she was the general manager until I was leaving and she gave me her card and I looked at it and it said general manager. I thought she was just a leasing agent. So y'all, long story short, I go back to Houston. I'm just like, dang, I gotta be out my apartment by Tuesday. And so I remember coming back to Houston, and I'm gonna insert clips because something in me told me to just record my feelings every day. And so I'm going to be inserting clips in between these videos. And these clips are like while I'm going through this transition and packing up and apartment searching and moving and stuff like that. So fast forward, I come back to Houston Saturday night, and I'm just like over it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna focus on packing up and moving out. I'll probably just get me try to find an Airbnb to stay at. I'm gonna just put my stuff in storage, and I'll move forward from there, right? So, hold on, y'all. I don't know why my lips are drying out so fast. But so I'm like, okay. So I get back to Houston, and then so Sunday, Lucky Charms. I woke up, Lucky Charms, like y'all, Lucky Charms never left my mind. And I kept, that night when I got back to Houston and I went to bed, I kept going through my phone to look at the apartment videos that I took, and I kept looking at Lucky Charms video, and I was just like, oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, I just love this apartment so bad. I just love it. And then so Sunday, the next day, I wake up and I call Lucky Charms to ask them a question. I think I asked them like, I don't even remember what I asked them. I maybe asked them something about one of the amenities or something. I can't remember. But I called, and it was the same lady that gave me the tour the day before. And I asked her the question, she answered it. And then she said, oh, like, were you interested in applying for the apartment? And I was like, oh, well, you know, I toured some other places, so I'm still like narrowing down my decision. I haven't made the decision yet, but I'm hoping to make my decision by Monday, tomorrow. And she was like, okay, well, you know, just so you know, after you left from the tour on Saturday, another young lady came in after you, and she was like really interested in that same apartment. Because so when I toured Lucky Charms, I didn't tour the model, I toured the actual unit that was available. So she was like, after I left that day, like a couple minutes later, somebody else came in and they toured the exact same empty apartment unit, and they fell in love with it. And she was like, yeah, you know, she seems really interested, like she's gonna apply. So if you want the apartment, I would suggest that you apply like sooner than later, because if the other lady applies for it first, then they're gonna have to give it to her. So now in my mind, I'm still like, girl, I ain't finna, not with no, y'all rent dang near $3,000. I'm not finna apply. That's what I'm saying in my mind. But on the phone, I'm like, oh, okay, yes, you know, thank you so much for letting me know. I'm gonna try to narrow it down, my decision by today. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for giving me a heads up. So y'all, I get off the phone, and in my mind, y'all, and this is something that I feel like as followers of Christ, like we have to work on being able to discern, is like, when I got off the phone with her, I took that as like the devil trying to like distract me or get me to try to rush and apply for an apartment that I'm not even sure about. Like, you know, like that's the way I took it. I took it as the enemy trying to like, because throughout my whole wilderness season, something that the Lord really was working on with me was patience. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, here come the devil trying to get me to be impatient and trying to get me to rush decisions. Like, like he ain't finna get me like that. So here I am thinking that, but looking back at it, I think it was actually God trying to like be like, girl, hurry up. So anyways, that was Sunday. So then Monday, I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna do. I still don't know what to do. I'm just so stressed out. I'm just like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I end up